Hi there, it's Carrie from Stamp with CT. And adjust just a little bit. Welcome on into our Wednesday Facebook Live. It is already November the 19th. And I'm super excited to be with you today. So if you're catching this part of the video, you're probably watching on the replay cruise. So I appreciate you being here. And then I usually wait just a minute so some friends can hop on with me live. I'm glad to have everybody that is able to watch, especially appreciate those that comment, give me a thumbs up, a heart on the way in. So that definitely helps me in the algorithm of Facebook and then of course on YouTube as well. Certainly subscribe if you haven't already or follow our page. But did you know that that really helps you as well? Because what that tells Facebook is that you like my content, you want to see more, so the next time I post a video or picture or something funny, it'll pop up in your feed. And you'll also see other types of content like mine. So that can also help to curate your news feed. So that works great for both of us. So if you are new here, welcome on in. Glad you found me. And if you are a loyal viewer and have been a friend for a long time, I am so glad to welcome you back. So I usually have some friends that are able to hop in live and they'll say hello, and I appreciate that so much. I love being able to spend a few minutes with you crafting each week. So today I have, I think, a fun project for you. It is one that kind of popped into my head. That happens to me from time to time. Sometimes I dream up cards, and sometimes it just pops in my head, hey, that would be fun, and so I have to make it come to fruition. Let me know if I'm the only one. I have a suspicion that I am not the only one that happens to. It's just the way our crafty brains work. So today is a pretty straightforward little card. I was so happy with how it turned out though. I went ahead and used Coastal Cabana cardstock. No DSP on this card at all. And really just one little embellishment in the center of my snowflake. Just stamps, ink, and cardstock today. So inside panel, keeping it very simple. I say that, I did use an embossing folder. Y'all know I love, love, love the Forever Plaid embossing folder. So part of the reason I need to make it a little bit quicker today is we have the chimney sweep coming to take a look at the fireplace today. You know, it's that time of year that it's time to do that. And in the past, it's been hard to find someone, but I will tell you, my friend Gail lives down at Buffalo, and she gave me a name, and that man actually has trained his brother, who now lives right down the street from us. So if you're in our area and you're needing that service, let me know, because these guys are super, super nice. So I would love to give a referral for them if you need that service. Okay, so speaking of cold weather and winter weather, we've got this pretty snowflake card. So just thought I would show you the stamps that I'm using for the Warmest Winter Wishes stamp. And you know, this is a winter card, and I don't know that I send a ton of winter cards, but you could very easily make this into a Christmas card. You could also make this into a winter birthday card. I have lots of friends and family that were born in January and February, so that works out really well. And then this is the die set that coordinates with this Delicate Pines stamp set. So lovely. Just a beautiful stamp and die set. In this set, there's a couple of pieces. There's actually a couple of the smaller ones, but one large one, where we're calling them snowflake arms when Cheryl and I worked on some projects for the after party way back when these products were first introduced. I think this one's actually the smaller die, but we just cut a couple of each of these, and then when you layer them on, you build your snowflake. So they're a little bit delicate, hence the name, Delicate Pines, right? They're a little delicate to get out of the die, so we do use the trick where you can run some wax paper through your die. It kind of coats it little bit with that wax, and then the paper does come out much easier. You still do need to work with it, be gentle with it, take your time. So we would not probably advise making hundreds of snowflakes because it's really time consuming, but for a few cards, it's an absolutely beautiful effect. And there's lots of other dies in this set too that are just amazing. So a really nice stamp die bundle that I know several of you have. So that was part of the reason why I wanted to do this card too. Now I'm going to pull in Textured Notes, that smallest piece from the Textured Notes dies. These are lovely to have in your collection because they go from this small sentiment that I'm using here all the way up to a piece that actually cuts out basically a card front. And it just gives you that bit of texture all the way around that pattern. I'm going to bring them a little closer so maybe that will show up if you're not familiar with these dies, because they are absolutely amazing. We've used them a ton. And then my beautiful Forever Plaid embossing folder. And what I did today was not only emboss that layer of Coastal Cabana cardstock that I'm using, but I flipped over that little flap, and I'm thinking it will still show up on camera. I have embossed the flap of the card. So just to make this a little bit more cohesive, of course you could stamp some snowflakes on the front, Merry Christmas. I even have a little Christmas tree stamp I like to stamp on my Christmas cards, but I love embossing the flap of your envelope. So let me show you really quickly. It is so easy with this folder because the actual pattern runs all the way to the edge of the folder. So you just take your envelope and open it up and put it at the edge. And then once you close that up, you can push down to where you're right on that fold line, and you can feel it. You can kind of feel when you get to the right spot. And then you're going to just run your embossing folder through like you normally would, this edge that's folded first, run it on through, and then that is how you get that gorgeous effect on the flap of your card. So just going a little extra mile, especially when it's a more simple and straightforward card. That's really fun to do. Okay, let's put our card together. And as we're doing this, I am using Coastal Cabana cardstock today. It is, well, Dale calls it a green, I call it a blue. It is just a beautiful color, greenish blue. 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. So let me burnish that. And I would like for you to do me a favor and vote, because this is a non-traditional, if you were to make this a Christmas card, it would be a non-traditional color for a Christmas card, I feel like. So when Dale and I were talking about other non-traditional colors that you could use, we talked about pink, we talked about purple. So you let me know, and especially if you know Stampin' Up! Colors, what color would you make this card in also? Because I think we're going to make a reel making this project, and we'll use a different color. So we would really appreciate if you would vote for us so we will know. And then I do have a couple pieces of basic white cardstock, and I just need to make sure that I get the larger of the two for the inside panel so I don't mess up. Let me just check really quick. Yeah, that's the one I want. So this one is 5 1/4 by 4. So it's just going to be very, very minimal difference. Whoops. In my two pieces. Goodness. I got stuff flying everywhere. Y'all should see my craft room. Oh my goodness. What I love though is that once I get busy cleaning it up, it cleans up pretty quickly. So right now it is a hot mess though. Hot mess dumpster fire is what my daughter would say. I was sharing this with a friend the other day. I learned this trick, especially in my craft room. I seem to be using this where I'll feel a little bit overwhelmed with what I need to do as far as cleaning up. And so I don't even remember, it was some type of training that I took. And the lady said, set a timer. Set a timer for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, and just do what you can do in that time and then walk away from it. And what I've found is that when I do that, I get so much more done. And many times when the timer goes off, I'm very close to completing the project or process that I'm in. And so I just go ahead and I finish it up. And then I have that off my plate. So if you struggle with that, not really procrastination, but just feeling a little bit overwhelmed. I have a lot going on just in general. And so sometimes I feel myself being a little bit overwhelmed. And even good things like stamps, ink, and paper, embellishments, you know, sometimes just making it all stay organized and where you can find what you need and you're taking care of your products, that can be time consuming. So that's just a little tip that has worked for me, and I've shared that with a couple of friends and they've reported back that it has helped them as well. So I thought I would just mention that. Isn't that funny how little things like that can make such a difference? Something about just getting started. So I thought about on this card at first just embossing the Coastal Cabana layer because it's really tone on tone other than I have that white layer in there. And let me share with you, the embossed piece is 5 by 3 3/4. So my white layer that I decided to add is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And I love using the 1/8 inch measurement because it gives you such a pretty look. It really makes the snowflake pop out more to have that panel back behind with the white and just that very small border. It really does, it just adds a little something. So now I'm going to turn this card upside down just because I can visualize better the top of the card that way, and I'm taking the dimensional backs off, and I want to add my warmest winter wishes sentiment. I can just see that better this way, and it needs to shift down a tiny bit. Let's see how that looks when I turn it back right side up. Not too shabby. It could probably go to the left a tiny bit more. Kind of watching the grid of the embossing folder helps too. And my stamping may be slightly crooked. I think it's pretty good though. Till I really push those dimensionals down, I've got a little leeway and I can adjust it. Okay, we're gonna leave it alone. I'll fix it later if it's still an issue. So now I have my snowflake pieces already die cut out, and I think I actually have an extra of the smaller piece. I don't think I'm gonna need it, but a lot of times when I die cut for videos like this, or just even in my general crafting, I will go ahead and put pieces like this on glue dots just so I can keep up with them better. And sometimes I attach it, keep it attached to the roll, and sometimes I go ahead and take it off. So this, having my sentiment on first, kind of helps me with my placement of my snowflake pieces. But I am not going to just super worry about getting this snowflake precisely perfect on this card, because snowflakes, they just do what they want, y'all. They are amazing creations. They are beautiful creations, aren't they? Just like us. God's beautiful creations. And so I'm just really kind of making an X with these first two big pieces. And so you see you've got that center piece that you can kind of line up. And using glue dots seems to help. I don't have that perfectly centered up, because it gives the snowflake pieces, each little piece, a little bit of a lift. Get him where he goes. That's better. I'm trying to put him kind of in an X shape. And then that way, when I bring these smaller ones in, I'm going to kind of do that with them as well. That cool how it just comes together. We talked when we did our class with this set several months ago just about how snowflakes are unique, how we are unique. We make such an impact on this world. And I know that when I see snowflakes, I'm just delighted because they're so beautiful. That's how I feel about my friends too. Just delighted to see my friends. They're a beautiful creation as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and bring in, I think these are called the traditional sequins, and they're really pretty. I used a smaller one on my first card, but I think I'm going to pick up one of these that's a little bit larger down here. Put it in the center. And I think I like that even better. Okay, so that's a pretty simple card, isn't it? But look how pretty it is. That turned out pretty. I still don't know that my sentiment's exactly right, but we'll worry about that later. You get the idea. And then, of course, don't forget to emboss your flap, too. And just play with the embossing folders that you own and see which ones work well for that. It's just a really fun way to dress up your card even a little bit more, make it a little bit more special. So special getting a handmade card, though, anyway. Okay, speaking of special handmade cards, I have a lovely birthday card that I received from Donna, and it is so beautiful, y'all. I'm going to bring it pretty close because I want you to see all the detail. She has like a pleated area over here. Look at all of this. Beautiful little bow. Such pretty stamping and pretty paper. Love this card. Such a beautiful card. But this pleating here, that is just gorgeous. So thank you, Donna. I enjoyed this card so much. Okay, let's talk a little bit about a couple things that we have coming up. This Friday, we have what we are calling our Attitude of Gratitude pop-up class. So all through the month of November, so we still have what, the 21st and the 28th, we're doing a 5 o'clock Central Time Facebook Live here on our Facebook page, Stamp with CT. And so we're just making a quick and cute little craft project, paper crafting project, maybe 30-minute video, and just to give you some cute ideas that you can use during the holidays to either decorate up your home, decorate up your table. Last week we made a pumpkin from paper. We punched out circles from Designer Series paper that's fall themed. We used the Gathering Together, but you can really use any color, and we made the cutest little paper pumpkin, or pumpkin out of paper, I should say, since we already have something called paper pumpkin with Stampin' Up. I left it in the other room, or I would show you, but you can go back and you can see the video, or you can hop over on YouTube and find it under the Attitude of Gratitude pop-up class. So this Friday we will make something else. Thursday evening, tomorrow evening, I will post a list of the supplies that you're going to need. If you want to craft right along with us, you can always watch and then go back and craft. If you make the project or something similar, or we inspire you at all, I hope you will send us a picture, drop it in the comments. We love seeing what you make, and we love inspiring you. That really is a big reason that we do everything that we do. So, okay, I think that's it. I hope to see you Friday night at 5 p.m. Dale, the crafty husband, and I will have that project for you. And then don't forget to let me know, if you would, what color you would like to see this card created in. Non-traditional type Christmas color. And we may turn it into a Christmas card for that reel. But let me know. All right, guys. I appreciate y'all being here. Talk to you soon.